Hi, this is Jillian again. I would like to talk about the effects of sound on people with Asperger syndrome. When I was a child, it was hard for me to deal with social situations. Even then I knew I had a problem playing with other kids, but I didn't know the reason why. So, I acted out. Most of the time, my antics were dismissed by my parents as me just being a general all-around brat. I won't deny that I was a bratty child, but I was also very aware of people and things going on around me. But because I was unable to function around other children, I was seen by most adults as having severe emotional problems or even being all-out crazy. I was sitting in a psychotherapist's office as early as 5 years old, but I was unable to describe to them what was bothering me. I simply didn't know the words. I would frequently begin crying for no apparent reason. What I did not realize at the time was that I easily became overwhelmed by crowds of people talking. I would become overstimulated by the noises other children were making. To this day, the feeling of being overstimulated still is difficult to describe. Certain sounds had, and still have the effect of creating a white noise in my mind. Back then, I would completely lose my focus and I couldn't function. Loud noises bothered me more than they should, and they had the effect of terrifying me, and caused me to fly into a panic. My reactions were almost always unpleasant for people to deal with. The high-pitched sound of children's laughter bothered me even more. As anyone with Asperger syndrome knows, the sound of laughter is quickly associated with the feelings of being ridiculed. I grew to become almost paralyzed with fear every time I heard someone laugh. Back in those days, when I heard laughter, it was usually aimed in my direction. As I've grown older, I learned that, if I kept away from other people, and avoided social situations that were difficult for me, I could get through the day. In my 20s and 30s, I wanted desperately to have a voice, and to be understood by other people. In short, I learned to copy other people's facial expressions and voice mannerisms, and for a while I was pretty good at it. The only thing that would ever throw me off balance was when people laughed for no reason, or when they would whisper. This may sound weird, but even now, in my 40s, I still find myself laughing at inappropriate times. Even I find that disturbing, and I wonder how it sounds to other people. People will often look at me strangely, wondering why I thought something was funny when it wasn't. I would usually explain then that my laughter is a nervous reaction, which would usually draw even more odd reactions from people. Once people figured out that my responses to their attempts at conversation with me were automatic and sounding rehearsed, they quickly stopped talking to me. So, as a result, I do not start conversations with people unless I have to, because for me, making small talk is like walking through a minefield. I found out quickly that I hate answering phones, as well as the ringing noise, so I avoid jobs where I have to answer them. I prefer having a job where I can have a nice, private work area, where I can put in my headphones and listen to music, all the while tuning the world out around me. Most of the things that trigger anxiety in me are caused by sound. I do not like the sounds of thunder and high wind, nor do I like the sounds of things exploding, like a car backfiring, or the noise made by fireworks bursting up in the sky on the 4th of July. The sound of 2 or more people talking causes me to lose focus so badly these days, that I have to get up, leave the room to get myself together. No wonder people think I'm strange. If you know, or suspect that you, or your child may have Asperger syndrome, it may help you to take the time to identify those sounds that aggravate you most, and write them down. Sounds can cause all kinds of reactions in me, ranging from simple confusion, to panic and even a full-on meltdown. I'm rather embarrassed to admit that loud thunder will drive me right to a state of anxiety so intense that I have to hide in a closet with earplugs in, or headphones on, just to be able to calm myself down. It is important for all people with Asperger syndrome to recognize what effects certain sounds have upon us. Learning to understand what kinds of sounds aggravate you the most will eventually help you develop coping skills to react more reasonably when loud noises take you by surprise. I still have my issues with certain sounds, but more often than not, I'm able to stop, take a breath, and tell myself that there is no need to panic. It has taken me a long time, but it can be done. All it takes is finding out which sounds trigger reactions in you, and training yourself to slow down, stop the panic as it begins, and recognize the situation for what it is. I want to thank you for watching, and hope some of what I've described is of help to you. Until next time, goodbye.